Hashtag Trending is made possible by the generous support of Zoho Canada, a unique and powerful software suite to transform the way you work. Designed for businesses of all sizes, built by a company that values your privacy. Visit them at zoho.com. Microsoft accepts responsibility after the China hacking incident. Research firm Gartner Group says the data is clear. Return to office risks outweigh the rewards. The payoff from AI projects is dismal so far, but AI is fueling rapid climate adaptation for our crops. These stories and more on the Winners and Losers edition of Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Microsoft is facing intense scrutiny from lawmakers and regulators over recent nation-state cyber attacks that compromise the tech giant's products used by federal agencies. In testimony to Congress today, Microsoft President Brad Smith will say the company accepts responsibility for the issues raised in the government report on a major 2022 hack attributed to China. The breach exposed emails at agencies like the State Department. Smith plans to outline Microsoft's new Secure Future initiative aimed at prioritizing security over fast product releases. He'll apologize for the impacts and invite federal cybersecurity leaders to review the changes. The comments come as Microsoft confronts a crisis of trust in Washington following revelations that its products enabled cyber espionage by China and Russia against U.S. government communications. Lawmakers are pushing back on renewing Microsoft contracts, while competitors lobby to replace the software across agencies. A trade group is urging the federal government to diversify beyond its Microsoft reliance. With the intense spotlight, Smith will need to provide credible assurances that Microsoft's security overhaul can prevent future breaches and regain agencies' trust in its core products like Windows and Office. As organizations push for more time in the office, new research raises questions about whether strict return-to-office requirements are worth the potential talent fallout. Nearly three-quarters of executives say return-to-office mandates are causing leadership conflicts, and employees at firms with these policies report lower intent to stay compared with those with more flexibility. High performers, women, and millennials, groups that highly value remote options, are the biggest flight risks when faced with RTO requirements. While some modest benefits like increased effort and team collaboration emerge from office time, the research found no real improvements to performance or inclusion metrics. In fact, over 60% of employees say they work best remotely and feel more included in that environment versus on-site. Rather than blanket mandates, experts recommend giving employees a voice in shaping flexible hybrid policies focused on purposeful office time, like brainstorming sessions or team-building efforts. With talent at a premium, the risks of strict RTO policies, low morale, and high attrition may outweigh the potential upsides for many organizations. A new survey by LucidWorks finds businesses are getting more cautious about investing in generative AI tools like ChatGPT. The initial hype around AI has faded as organizations grapple with high costs, data security risks, and often disappointing results. While 63% of companies still plan to increase AI spending this year, that's down sharply from 93% in 2022. Concerns are especially high in Asia, where under half of Chinese businesses expect to boost AI budgets. A key issue? A dismal 42% of companies report seeing no significant benefits yet from their generative AI initiatives, and only 25% of planned AI projects have even been completed so far. Worries about the accuracy of AI outputs have increased fivefold over last year, and anticipated high costs for technologies like large language models are causing sticker shock, with up to 14 times higher costs than 2022 expectations. Qualitative applications using generative AI for narrow text-based outputs like generating FAQs and HR documentation have seen the most success so far, accounting for about 25% of successful implementations. However, More complex quantitative applications that involve analysis, optimization, and prediction have proven far more challenging, with less than 15% implemented successfully. Simple use cases like code generation copilots have found traction, while data-heavy initiatives like product search optimization and automated job screening have struggled to live up to the AI hype. The results suggest that the AI revolution faces growing pains as real-world deployments hit roadblocks about governance, performance, and even return on investment. As one expert noted, the honeymoon phase of generative AI is over as companies take a more measured approach. As climate change upends traditional growing seasons, the agriculture industry is harnessing AI on two fronts to protect food supplies. First, providing hyperlocal weather forecasting to make smarter planting and harvesting decisions. And second, rapidly breeding new crop varieties resilient to increasing weather extremes. An Idaho firm called Shepherd's Grain is using a system called Climate AI that crunches data like satellite imagery to deliver granular forecasts up to 6 months out, advising the company's wheat farmers on the optimal times to sow and reap each crop for optimal yields. A forward look at the weather helps our growers decide which crops to plant and when they'll reach maturity, says CEO Jeremy Bunch. But AI isn't just about informing season-to-season decisions. It's also revolutionizing the breeding pipeline. Rebecca White of Avalo says their machine learning can identify beneficial genes across different seed varieties. This allows us, she says, to create new climate-adapted plant varieties 5 times faster than traditional methods. Avalo has developed drought-hardy potatoes and frost-resistant rice using this AI-driven approach, and the company's also developed climate-adapted broccoli that grows 25% faster. With a world population approaching 10 billion and the threat of climate change potentially devastating crop yields, AI is proving more than useful. It's an essential tool to ensure that we can maintain our global food supply. And that's our show for today. Hashtag Trending goes to air 5 days a week with a daily news show and a weekend interview show we call the Weekend Edition. Show notes are at technewsday.ca or .com, either one works. And we love your comments. Contact me at editorial@technewsday.ca. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a fantastic Friday.